We've been arguing on the show that I think that Phil Simms is a better quarterback than Eli Manning. Your thoughts?
Wow.
Huh? Little curveball.
I played against Phil Simms, obviously. Had a lot of respect for him. I don't know if he's – I don't know if better is the word to use. I think that obviously he played on maybe some better football teams when you look at who he played with. I mean, you talked about one of the most dominant defensive players to ever play our game, along with a great running attack. And I think when Eli is asked to play in a system that will allow him to have a good running game, we've seen what he can do. So I just look at sometimes when you look at players, you take the player out of the equation, but you don't realize maybe the fit that he's in and the people that play with him. And I think all those things become a factor.
So let's use that as our jumping off point here, Herm. Can this running game the Giants had, that was actually pretty good in the preseason, carry this team offensively as the passing game figures out the new system?
It's going to have to, because right now they're going to struggle passing the football. I'm going to just tell you that right up front. There's going to be a lot of 3-and-outs, and especially if you can't create positive yards on first or second down with your running game, because it puts you in a lot of third and longs, and you don't want to be in that system. We ran this system with New York, and it's going to take probably half the season for these guys to feel comfortable, because there's so many things that are asked. And remember, a lot of these players were hurt during the preseason. They shuffled that offensive line some. As we know, Eli Manning is a guy that likes to throw the ball down the field. Now, all of a sudden, you're changing his perspective of get the ball out of your hand. A lot of timing involved in this offense. And so there lies the problem, and there could be a lot of 3-and-outs early.
Here's what I don't get, though, Herm. You've got a quarterback that's been in the league 10 years. He's 20. He's 33 years old. You got a coach who's 69 years old. Why are you installing an offense that's diametrically different than anything he's ever done before, and it's going to take a half season to get used to it?
Well, I think, you do that every time you change sometimes. You change head coaches or coordinators. And I think right now they brought in a guy where they felt like they wanted to run a different system. Maybe the system they felt they had tired, and they wanted to go in a new direction. Eli suffered last year a lot with all the balls he threw to the opponent. And so their lives have changed, and sometimes you change just to change because you feel like it's going to be better. But with change, there comes obviously some negative in that too. You're going to suffer through some growing pains of it.
Herm, do you have faith that Rex Ryan will come up with a defense that will allow them to excel as they figure out what's going on with their cornerbacks?
Well, yeah, and I think this is why he played a lot of man-to-man in the preseason with some of the guys that are available for him to play right now, trying to figure out, what his best alternative would be as far as the back end, the type of coverages he wanted to use. That he has to feel comfortable when you call coverages, when you ask players to cover man-to-man, who are they and how good are they. So I think now he has a pretty good idea of the skill set of these players, and he will call his defenses accordingly to that.
But we've always heard that Rex's defenses are predicated on great corners. He doesn't have great corners, so is he going to have to redo what he does well?
No, you can still do things defensively, but you won't play as much man. You can still bring pressure, but you play a little bit more zone behind it. Right now what he does, basically, he can run pressure and basically have linebackers drop off in the zones and the corners will lock up man-to-man. Well, now he might have to ask the corners to play a little bit more zone, continue to bring the pressure so they can see the ball come out, so you don't give up a bunch of big scores.
All right, you're a former coach in this league, so you know where Rex, I guess, is coming from when he refuses to name Smith as his starting quarterback for the year. He's going to play it week to week, it seems. He did it last year as well. Do you see the benefit in not naming him the starting quarterback?
Well, I don't know that. I just think maybe that's what Geno Smith needs. Maybe he constantly needs that pressure of understanding that, hey, the way we're going to try to play football, you're a big part of it, and your main concern is this. You cannot lose games for us by turning the ball over. We want you to run the train. We want you to be the conductor of the train. We're not asking you to do anything fancy. We're going to run the football. We're going to keep you in some good situations where when you throw, you're going to have an opportunity to throw it down the field, which is his strength, but you can't turn it over. And that's basically what he's telling me. He said, you start turning this ball over and we're losing games because of that, then I'm going to have to put Michael Vick in the game.
But isn't it just a word game? I mean, if he names him the starter and he's not good, you could always take him out.
Well, yeah, we always have answers, for really things that we don't know a whole lot about. In other words, we don't have all the information. And it's easy for us to say because we sit outside of the classroom, and that's our job. That's why we get paid to second-guess people and say, well, I would have done this. But here again, Rex knows his football team better than anybody. He's around these guys for, 3, 4, 5 months. So he knows how to motivate players. And I think that's the whole key when you think about a football team or athletes, period. How do you motivate them? And how do you keep them focused in on the job at hand?
Talking to ESPN NFL analyst Herm Edwards here on the Michael Kay Show. Herm, is Michael Sam an NFL player?
Well, here again, you're asking me a question that I can answer this way because I'm not around Michael Sam as far as in practice. I've seen what you guys have seen. I've watched some tape. I've watched him make some plays that says he has a trait, obviously a rushing the quarterback. I think he's going to land it in a good spot now. He goes down to Dallas. This is a team that lost some players due to injury already. They lost Ware. They lost Hatcher. This team had 34 sacks last year. Went all the way down to 17 when you think about Hatcher and Ware leaving. Now Michael Sam is going to the place where Rod Marinelli is the defensive coordinator, an excellent defensive line coach, 4-3 system. You're going to ask him to play in the practice squad early. If he can show that he can produce, especially on the practice squad, they'll get him up. But he has to have passion, which he does. He has to have a motor, which he does. He loves the game of football. Rod likes all that. And so he will have a great opportunity to maybe become one of those 46 players.
Are you surprised that Alex Smith has become the type of quarterback that commands that type of guaranteed money? 5 years ago, I don't know if any of us would have seen him either in the league or certainly being so valuable that they'd give him all that guaranteed money.
Well, here again, I think system and what you're asking the player to do helps him. And when you think about Coach Harbaugh coming in there, he changed the system to a system that basically he's asking him, you manage the game. Don't turn the ball over. Don't make bad decisions with the football. We're going to build a good defense. We're going to have an excellent running game. He does very well in San Francisco, and guess where he lands up? He lands up in Kansas City. If you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they're built one way as well. They're built with a great running back in Jamal Charles. That they don't ask him to do a whole lot. Now, he can throw the ball, but they're not going to ask him to throw it 40 to 50 times. He's not a volume passer. If those games appear, he's going to have to do it. But he's sitting in position now where that quarterback position warrants a certain amount of money. Is he a top echelon guy? No, but he's a guy that always seems to be in the playoffs.
Amazing stuff. Herm, thanks a lot, man. I guess we'll talk to you a lot during the season.
I hope so.
Enjoy Thursday when it all starts.
Okay, thank you now.